My name is Brian Needleman, and I'm coming on here today very vulnerable, very frightened, and scared since the COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, started coming about. I'm scared much more for just my health, but for my financial situation. This is the new normal for me. Let's start with the obvious. I have to wear a mask when I go outside because I'm one of the categories that's higher risk. I might not be as high risk as other people, but I have asthma, I have sleep apnea, which are breathing issues, and I have a history also of with bronchial infections. And so many weeks ago, I recovered from a very, very nasty virus that took a hit on my lungs. So I'm at risk. This is my new normal. I can't go outside without this. And I wear gloves and I use hand sanitizer. Now, I just want to ask that if people are going to make comments, please don't make any ignorant or stupid comments about my hair being unruly or gray coming in or making any comments about my mask, how I might look like a stagecoach robber from the Old West. Because although this may appear funny, it's not. I'm not laughing. And if there's any ignorant and stupid comments about the aforementioned that I just stated, I'm going to tell you in advance to go fuck yourself. Now, fortunately, I'm inside, so I don't need to wear the mask. But it's difficult being outside, not being able to breathe. Now, this virus has been a real devastation to me, not just because of my health, but because of my income. In one false swoop, my 4 sources of income have been dramatically cut. I have a private practice once a week, and I also practice my psychotherapy in another office another time a week, and they've taken a huge hit. The insurance company is still not paying for me to be able to do telehealth, which is over the phone. So I've lost a lot of income. Some patients that I were seeing with the insurance, it's not set up to do telehealth, so we can't do the work. So I've lost a lot of money with that business. Everybody knows that I was a Zoom driver picking up kids, completely wiped out because of the quarantine. And driving for Lyft was more than just a job for me. It fed my soul. And I loved being out there driving. And I also lost a significant source of income. I was driving for Lyft, and as many of you knew, I was doing all those commercials to try to raise money for the Heather Heyer Foundation and creating time to be able to write and work on a Lyft book to also help the Heather Heyer Foundation. All those dreams, everything, all that's cut, gone. So what am I doing now? I'm an Instagram shopper. And I've got to get up very early in the morning, and I work until late at night, just trying to sling together as much cash as possible so I can keep some semblance of a roof over my head. This month I can't pay my rent, and I can't pay my medical insurance. So while some people are treating this like it's a staycay or an opportunity to self-reflect or play stupid Facebook games And I get it that people need a little comic relief. I'm not against that. But there's a lot of people out there that are minimizing this virus and they're treating it like a staycay at home, and they can self-reflect and get spiritual and spend time with family. And maybe, and also people are boasting about how well they're doing financially even during a crisis like this. Well, guess what? Good for you. But the most of us out here, a lot of people out here are really fucking struggling. Other people may have it worse than me. Other people have it better than me. I'm not going to get into a pissing contest about who's got it better or worse. But I'm suffering as much as other people are suffering. That's what the new normal is out there. It's a nightmare. Every day is a fucking nightmare. People say keep positive and all that stuff. Every day I wake up, this is a hell. So if things are going well for you and you're comfortable and someone's paying your bills, or you got a stay-at-home job, or whatever it is, your financial situation, good for you. But stop acting like this is a vacation, like everybody else experiences what you experience. Now, my friend Jason Morrow talked about how this brings out the worst in humanity. I've seen people stealing shit from the stores. I saw a man punch a woman in the mouth because they were both going for a roll of toilet paper that was hiding behind something. And I wasn't able to help her because I was trapped in a cart. There are people that stab each other over water. There are people that are grabbing chickens out of people's hands. There are people that are hoarding toilet paper and other supplies and things like that. There's a lot of people that can't get out. I just sent my mother a care package of toilet paper and sanitizer, and I'm going to send her a mask, whether she needs all those things or not. She's my mother, and I love her. So I'm sending her these things. But my friend Jason Morrow was right. This is also bringing out the worst in humanity. And I promised that I would not make this political, because this virus doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your religious, your political, or your spiritual perversions or beliefs or whatnot. It doesn't care whether you're black or white or you're Hispanic or Asian. It doesn't care if you're Jewish, Christian, Catholic. It doesn't discriminate. Virus goes after lots of people, all people. So what people need to do is start taking this fucking thing seriously. Stop making jokes about it. Just because you may follow a spiritual path and you think that you're healthy and high above it, guess what? You're not. There's no more room for arrogance or minimization, people. We live in some very, very perilous and precarious times. And it's time that you take your head out of your fucking ass. I wish I had that luxury, but I don't. What I will say is, please, in the name of God, being an atheist, in the name of God, I'm saying this, stop calling it the Chinese virus. And I'm imploring you, Mr. President, and anyone else who is spreading around that this is a Chinese virus. Yes, I know that it came from a bat, and I'm aware that it came from possibly a reptile and may have originated in China. However, stop calling it the Chinese virus, because what you're doing is you're scapegoating the Chinese. This is the San Francisco Bay Area, and Asian people are getting the shit beat out of them simply because they're Asian. Please stop calling it the Chinese virus. And Mr. President, with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, you may be aware that that kid did come from the Spider-Man movie too, with Tobey Maguire. However, it was stated by Winston Churchill as well as John F. Kennedy. This virus could have very well came from a bat anywhere on the planet. Could have came from anywhere. What are people going to then start calling it? What if the rest of the world started calling it the American virus? Or a white person's virus? We're going to start getting beat up because of it? Stop scapegoating. I know something about scapegoating, being Jewish and also knowing about Jewish history. Adolf Hitler, during the World Depression, scapegoated the Jews being responsible for the economy's collapse. And as a result, 6 million of my people were killed. And a lot of other people that weren't Jewish. So stop scapegoating. Now, my friend Jason Morrow was right that it does bring out the worst in humanity. However, I've also been very, very humbled and seen the best in humanity come out from people. Sometimes these things teach us that people do care and they do give a shit. People that I know like Amy Boswinkle and Michelle Weather, who were spreading some information about resources so people could get help. My long-term beautiful friend Jerry Schwartz, who was sending medical advice about drinking warm, hot liquids and putting some lemon in your water and in your soup to help with breathing. My friend Gail Hopkins Riley expressed her vulnerability from what this work was doing to her. So she's modeling for other people courage about not keeping your feelings in, but putting your truth and your reality out there. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people sharing resources, people helping each other out, neighbors giving each other what they need, people trading, people doing favors for one another. And I've experienced the biggest, it's humiliating. One of the places where I do a private practice, the director paid my rent, so I now have a place to sleep. And I'm able to pay my medical benefits for the month. I didn't ask her for the money, she just loaned it to me. Do you know how humbling and humiliating that is to be almost 53 years old and have somebody have to pay your rent? Now, you may ask, why don't I have a nest egg put aside? Oh, there was a time I had lots of money. But sometimes bad things happen in life. Insurance doesn't cover this, medical expenses, other stuff. And the money that I had, I don't anymore. One time I was able to pay it back for a woman. She was kicking and screaming coming out of a Safeway and not in a good neighborhood. And talking to her, I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I can't get any fucking toilet paper." So I gave her an emergency roll that I had in the back seat of my car. She said, "What, do you want me to blow you for it?" I said, "No." And I gave her the roll of toilet paper. And I said, "One day you can pass it on to somebody else." Now, how do we get through this? I think we just have to rely on the drive of our own human spirit. What the fuck does that mean? It means lots of things. But I think it means that somewhere inside us, there is a place, a strength, that gets us through the best and the worst of times. When we feel like we're beaten up, there's something inside us that makes us keep going, that goes from despair to thriving. We all have it inside us. We can access it ourselves by believing that we are stronger than anything that we've ever gone through. I will beat this. Can't keep a good man down. And we will beat this fucking virus. So stay safe, everyone. Take care of yourselves. And if you think that you've heard the last of me, as Al Pacino said it at the end of the movie Scent of a Woman, when the headmaster asked him, "Are you finished?" "Oh, I'm just getting warmed up."